Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM1, February 5th, 2021. Just a quick brain teaser. How many triangles do you see in this picture? Think about it. Okay, there are actually 24 triangles. And that's how the triangles break down. Okay, some announcements. Unit 4 test will be next Friday. That is the Friday just before the break start. It will be on the sequences, on arithmetic and geometric sequences, and also the system of equations, graphing, equal value, and substitution methods. What are we doing today? We are actually going to try something different. We are going to break into two different groups. Well, actually more than two groups. The breakout room is going to have multiple groups depending on how many people wants to be there. The main group is recommended if you don't really get what system of equation is and that you are having trouble with homework. What you'll do is you are going to be guided by me, and we're going to review the main concepts and practice solving together. The breakout room should be for those students who gets what the system of equation is and that you are able to do the homework pretty easily. What will you do? You are going to collaborate with classmates, practice more word problems, and learn additional methods to solve systems of equations. So this is for students who are staying with me. Okay, so let's keep working on solving equations and solving systems of equation. To do that, if I ask you what number when multiplied by 5 gives 20? If I was to write that as an algebraic expression, what number multiplied by? So what number makes me think about x? Multiplied by is multiplied by 5 gives 20. So this tells me that I am looking for the equation 5x is equal to 20. Okay, and this is asking you what is the value of x that makes this equation true. Okay, so find the solution for an equation means to figure out that what number x must be to make the equation work, or makes the equation true. So I know some of you are tempted to solve this by guess and check and say, oh, 5 times 4 is 20, so x is 4. But I would really discourage you from guess and check at this point. Okay, guessing and checking, that's a great strategy, but you also need to learn algebraic problem solving or equation solving, because that way you're going to be able to solve a lot more complicated problems. Okay, some of you, especially the ones who are bright, they tend to take a long time to buy into this. You need to solve algebraically. There is no way you're going to be able to solve complicated problem by guessing and checking. There are too many numbers to try, and there are too many complicated numbers that you are not going to be able to do that anymore. Okay, so then what number adds to 5 and subtracts to 1? Okay, so then we have an AND condition, don't we? Okay, what two numbers? That means we have two numbers. We're dealing with x and y. So we have x, let's call this x, and y. Add to makes me think add to, they are adding to 5, but the two numbers subtract to 1. Okay, so try to translate this literally. That's going to be helpful for you. Then we are left with these two equations. When we put the parentheses, we're looking for values of x and y that satisfies both equations. Okay, so find solution for the system of equations means to figure out what number x and y must be, what they must be to make both the equations work or true. We have been learning different methods to solve different systems of equations. So if I had this equation, another equation like this, another, or another, like so. Okay, I have 4 different types of equation. We've learned many different methods. So we've learned to solve by graphing. We've learned solve by equal value. Remember the beef burger and the French fries. And then solve by substitution. That was the triangles and circles. So to be able to solve systems of equation, we need to master solving equations with one variable. Okay, so it is a skill that you are going to need in order to be able to solve a more complicated problems like this. Believe me, if you're using guessing and checking, okay, you're not going to be able to solve this problem. You can't try one. Oh, one doesn't work, one doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. Try 2. No, it doesn't work. Try 3. It doesn't work. Or try -1. It doesn't work. You know what? You cannot do that. Okay? It's going to take you forever. And besides, you're not going to try all the half numbers like 1.5, 2.7, or anything like that. So again, I would strongly urge you to learn to solve algebraically. So in order to do that, we're going to start really easy. Again, we're going to start really easy, but warning, do not use guess and check method to solve the easy problems that I am going to give you in PADEC. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so you are to solve x minus 17 is equal to -5. I know you can think of, okay, what number must this be to make this true? And you might think of a number. That is called guessing and checking. Okay, you're doing it mentally. Mental math is a great thing, but for now, trust me, you need to learn to do it algebraically, because this is a method that's going to help you to be able to solve a lot more complicated problems. If you are stubborn about just using guess and check and say, oh, but I know how to do it by guess and check, I don't need to learn the other method, or the other method doesn't really make sense to me, so I'm not going to really learn it. Well, then you're going to be at a loss. So please learn this method. Okay, so to do this, you'll have to be thinking about what is being done to the variable x. What is being done to variable x? It is being subtracted by 17. Remember, the goal is for us to get to x is equal to something. Okay, the goal is for us to get to x is equal to some number. So that means we do not want anything around x. We just want x on one side of the equal sign and some number on the other side of the equal sign. Looking at this, what is it that we do not want? We want to get rid of this, don't we? Okay, we want to get rid of -17. How do I get rid of this -17? How can I undo subtract by 17? That is by adding 17 to both sides. Because when I do that, -17 plus +17, they become 0. Okay, so it becomes x plus 0, which is same as x. And so that becomes 0, and it's not 170, it's just 0. And then on the right hand side of the equal sign, you have -5 plus 17. And that's going to be, you're adding 2 numbers with opposite sign. Okay, remember integer addition subtraction. When you're adding 2 numbers that are opposite in sign, you need to subtract just the number. So 17 minus 5. What is 17 minus 5? That's going to be 12. Okay, and the sign is going to be the sign that is of the bigger number that you added. Okay, so you added -5 and +17. The bigger number between these two was the +17. 17 is bigger than 5, right? And the sign that went with it was positive, so the answer is +12. So x is equal to 12, and that's how you find it. Again, I know some of you are just doing guess and check and say, oh, okay, I know that without doing all this business. I know that 12 minus 17 is -5. I can do all of that in my head, no problem. So this method does not make sense. No, you need to learn this method because this is going to be something that's going to be helpful for you. What about the next problem? Solve 5 is equals to x plus 8. Okay? Again, we don't really care whether the x is on the right hand side or the left hand side. We want the x to be by itself. We want the x to be by itself with some number, it being equal to a number. Okay, so it's perfectly fine if the variable x is on the right hand side, not on the left hand side. In this case, it's on the right hand side. Okay, so that's okay. But what is it that we do not want? We don't want this plus 8. How do I get rid of this plus 8? Your 8 is being added to x. So how can I undo add by 8? You subtract by 8. The opposite of addition is subtraction. When I do that, 8 minus 8 becomes 0, and the right hand side, you're left with x plus 0 is equal to 5. And x plus 0 is just x. So this goes away. That is the reason we did this, so that we can get rid of this mess. Okay, so we just got rid of this, so we don't even have to write that. And here you go. You have x is equal to 5, and you have solved it. Remember, one of the things you need to remember is whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you need to do to the other side, same to the other side. Okay, now what about this problem? Okay, so remember the goal is always to get to x is equal to something. That means what is it that we do not want? We do not want this -3. Okay, but to figure out what to do to get rid of this -3, you need to be thinking about what is -3 doing to x. Is it subtracting 3 from x? There is no operation between that, right? And that means the default is that it's multiplication. It's -3 multiplied by x. So -3 is being multiplied to x. So how do I undo multiplication? Okay, what is opposite of multiply? It's division. Okay, division, so that means we need to divide by, instead of multiplying by 3, we need to divide by 3, -3 in fact. Okay, multiply by -3, you divide by -3. When you divide -3, divide by -3, that becomes my giant 1. And that goes away. And you are just left with 1x on the left hand side, which is equal to 18 divided by -3. Okay, 18 divided by 3 is 6. Then positive number divided by negative number is going to be negative. So you have 1x is equal to -6, but 1 times x is same as x, so we can just write x is -6 here. What about this? What is it that we do not want? Again, we just want the x to be equal to something. Okay, we don't want anything else around x. What is it that is around x that we don't want? We don't want this. Okay, what is this 3 doing to x? Is it multiplying 3 to x? X is being divided by 3. Okay, x is being divided by 3. How do I undo divide by 3? What is opposite of division? Opposite of division is multiplication. So instead of dividing by 3, I need to multiply by 3 to both sides. Okay, whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I need to do exactly the same to the other side of the equal sign to keep the equation balanced. So then you have 3, and 3 becomes my giant 1 again. And it cancels out to 1x on the right hand side, which is same as x. And 3 multiplied by -12. 3 times 12 is 36. Positive number multiplied by negative number is negative. So x is -36. Okay, now this is two-step equation. I want you to pause the video and see if you can solve this. Okay, and I'll continue with the next lesson recording.